What are you doing, Bucko? Storm dog. Oh, buddy. Oh, Bucko. You having fun? You hanging out? What? I no, I just said nothing.
The storm dog say boof.
What's up, everybody? Maybe.
Is we live?
I think so.
I just got the YouTube hanging out.
Yep.
Right.
We is live.
There we go. I no, I just said nothing.
The storm dog say boof.
Okay. There we go.
Good morning,
So-
YouTube world.
Yeah, we had a James came over to drill some stuff, and I've got a few things to plug, and we thought, why not turn on a stream? So it's a little last minute, but whatever.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, we'll probably be doing this for a couple hours. He's got a few to drill, and I've got a few to plug, and
Yeah.
then we can. I haven't been on in a while. We got back from Nationals a few days ago, so we will have. I think James is going to do we're going to do a recap for his channel, and then I'm going to talk about the national stuff on the breakdown pair on Monday. So I don't want to get too far into it, but
Yeah. I am now Mr. 490, so that's all I'm going to say about it for now, at least. No, it was my first time in Reno, which the stadium itself was the National Bowling Stadium was pretty cool.
yeah.
The
Reno was not very cool.
Yeah, the Reno part was not the greatest. I did actually, one of my personal highlights of the trip was actually so y'all left Tuesday, like right after we were done bowling, basically. I hung out in town. I didn't fly out till Wednesday afternoon. But Wednesday morning, I had a rental car. And so I actually drove up to Lake Tahoe and found a really neat coffee shop and just kind of chilled there for a couple hours. And something that I started doing a couple of years ago is after big tournaments, I'll always set aside a little bit of time the day after just to kind of decompress, debrief, and kind of think through what went well, what didn't, and what I could do better. And so that was kind of that was my Wednesday morning. And so it was Lake Tahoe's beautiful. And it's only about 45 minutes to an hour from Reno, depending on where you're going to exactly. But
And it was snowy.
yes, dude, there was snow everywhere. It was
Mom and
it
Dad
was
drove
beautiful.
up there on Sunday,
Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, it was an all right trip. Can't complain too much.
What's up, everybody?
We got some peoples in the chat. We do. Look at that.
Yep, we got a few.
Sick.
Kind of a last minute deal, and it's 10:30 on a Saturday morning, so
Yeah, it happens. I'm kind of curious to know if people are going to be able to guess all of the bowling balls that I'm drilling,
yeah,
because there are a couple of ones you don't see very often that are on the bench right now.
yeah, not anymore.
Yes, that is very, very true. Funny enough, this is I didn't realize this until I was thinking about driving over. Ooh, New Jersey's. Nice.
Yeah.
This is an all nano drill bench for me today,
Oh, yeah.
because that cover has nano in it. All the GI covers are nano based. And then, of course, these two. So
Yeah. These are some new quick ships that they have on the website now. This is the lane side one. This is kind of a Kyle Troopy looking jersey. This is the red hexagram. I think this is probably my favorite.
the red hexagram. I need to get one of those. Honestly,
Yeah, I'm
because
gonna-
that's the teal version of that is the one that you and Angel wear a lot, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I've also got a pink version of this, I'm pretty sure.
They have a pink hexagram? I didn't know that.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't. They have a blackout hexagram too.
Ooh.
But yeah, I really like this one.
Stop making me want to spend money, dude.
So I think I'm going to order one of these with all my stuff all over it.
With your patch pirate stuff all over it.
This is the, no, this is the one I've got the pink version of. This is the purple.
Oh, yeah. The honeycomb.
Yeah, this is the purple honeycomb.
And they've got a teal honeycomb as well, right?
Hexagram honeycomb. Yes, they've got a
So
teal
confusing.
honeycomb, and then I've got the pink honeycomb.
They really need to make that more confusing, I think.
Yeah. And then this is the Patriot jersey, I'm pretty sure. Patriotic.
Which one?
That one.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the new elite jerseys,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, these are all new quick ships. So, and my code will get you 10% off everything that is not a quick ship or a mystery box. So, They have pants and shorts on the website now too. They are $100 though, so if you want to spend $100 on some Space Cat pants, but they are very comfortable. I wore them for
no, it's the Catronaut pants.
Yeah,
that was what we decided, or that was what Dallas decided in Reno. They're not Space Cats, they're Catronauts.
He's got a show off. No fate on that table. No, we already have fates.
Nope. Actually, here, let me just grab the camera and I'll show you guys real quick. Try and do this without breaking everything else. So this is James behind the camera, by the way. So first off on the left here, this is a 900 Global Reality. Thankfully, this is poured pre-Reactive Gloss, so I don't have to fully reset it. I hit it with a 4000 pad this morning. Layout is 4.5 by 4.5 by 2, so this is actually kind of mirroring my... Storm, shut up. This is mirroring my layout for my Black Widow 2.0, but just kind of... Hey, what's up, John? The kind of same idea as my shiny reality that I have now. I just want one that's drilled a little bit stronger, so that's what that is. This is the one that I'm really excited about. This is an original physics. It's one of my favorite balls of all time. My career high series is one of these, and I was fortunate enough to snag this blank off of a buddy of mine a couple months ago. So Joe, many thanks for that. I'm looking forward to throwing this one. And then finally, this is the ball that I haven't thrown yet. I'm kind of excited for this one though. This is the Roto Grip Show Off. So this was poured back in 2017. It's a 255 RG. I think it's like an 045 diff, so like mid diff, medium high RG. A little more core than a high road, but not by a ton. And the shell is
Microtracks.
They didn't call it Microtracks though. This was before they called it Microtracks. I forget what they. Microbite, ADH Microbite, because they label it's the exact same formula as the Haywire, which is basically NR. But so basically, NRG solid 255045 symmetrical ball. It's basically an amped up, hyped solid is kind of what I'm expecting shape wise from this. So a little more core than like my shiny Venom Shock that I use a lot for late block situations, and cover. And a touch more cover, yeah. But that's kind of what I'm expecting there. So nano, and nano. So all of the nano for me today. Just kind of putting holes in some new stuff, have a little bit of fun. So, and then Luke, you're working on that Honey Badger Intensity right there.
I'm plugging
correct?
the thumbs on, or I'm finishing the thumbs on the Intensity, the Synergy, and the Exotic.
Okay. So what's the what's up, Riffs? What is the Intensity? I know where the Intensity and the Synergy are going. Where's the Exotic? What's the?
They're all going to the same person.
Oh, they are? Okay, gotcha. Did not know that. Okay, I think I've got that pretty well set.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that is kind of the overall plan. I'm just putting the finishing touches on my layouts for these three balls before I get to work on the drill press, and then we get to see more work from the plug matcher extraordinaire himself, Mr. Luke Rostal, with assistance from Storm Doge.
Storm really wants to go outside, but it's wet and muddy, so.
Yeah, I was wheeling my bags in and out of the apartment this morning to switch stuff out because I hadn't moved them from practice yesterday, and ran one of the wheels right over a little mud puddle that I didn't see walking up the stairs, so that was kind of fun. What do you want, Storm? What do you want?
Hello, wanted to know if it's a good idea to use the inserts for the fingers for a person who has his equipment but has never used inserts. Is it true that they damage the ball? No, you wouldn't use them if they damage the ball?
Yeah. If you glue them improperly, it can weaken the cover stock, but that's just if you actually put a bunch of glue on the cover stock itself.
Yeah, I think the vast majority of people that are fingertip use inserts in one way or another.
Yep. You say boost, Storm?
Yeah, thanks to members Tim and Rivs for being here. There might be more members in here, but they haven't commented yet. And of course, if you want to give money to a stranger on the internet, you can always hit the super chat button or whatever. So.
White Dog is a he. His name is Storm. He is a white husky with some pretty beautiful blue eyes. He's obnoxious and lovable at the exact same time. Nope, you're staying off. Good boy. Good Storm. Good. That's a good buddy. That's a good non-jumping buddy.
To be bad. My pickles.
Aspen's actually like being social to me today.
Yeah. You go pig? You social pig? So you're fine.
All right. Time to make some dust. Fall asleep on me.
All right. So while he's getting that started, I'm gonna.
Sorry, I've took over the entire workbench.
No, you're fine.
I don't think I'll need the Pro Sec for a bit anyways. I'm just gonna go bang bang over here for a bit.
Putting the place my plug dams and
Actually, here. I'm gonna move the camera slightly so they can see both of us a little better.
oh, that's fine.
That work there? Yeah, I think so. Close enough for government work.
Yeah.
So now they can see the backs of both of us while we do things that they can't see. It's perfect. Yeah. 30 seconds. So Luke, I know you do the fake vacuums, so to speak. Do you just go down with a 30 seconds bit and then just get aggressive with the buzzer, or how do you?
Yeah,
I forget exactly.
Yeah, I just drill the hole out normal with the 30 seconds. Now since I've got a inch bit now, or the 60. Well, actually, I got a 61 bit. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to order.
61 is going to be smaller than a 31.
Yeah. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to order bigger grips and just use the 30 seconds for an inch, and then drop down to the 61. So instead of going inch into 30 seconds and 31, I'm going to do.
Why not
30.
just go? Well, if you go 30, because outside diameter of your grips is still 31, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to get bigger grips. The problem is if I get bigger grips now, then it's too big down at the bottom, and so it fits me at the knuckle, but then I kind of swim.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's why I use smaller grips right now, and so I just really kind of funnel out the top.
Yeah.
And so if I just go to a bigger grip, but then I, do the top with just the 31, and then I drop to a smaller bit.
Yeah.
For the bottom, then it might actually work out better, because sometimes it's the touch of getting it the right size.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking so much out, it's a little rough.
Now that makes sense. Unlike Princess over here, so Luke and I both use essentially vacuum grips in some form or another. Mine are much more traditional. I've got a 1 and 1/32 inch bit on the press right now, and so I'll just go down about 3/4 of an inch for that, and then follow with a 31/32 bit, which matches the outside diameter of my grips. And I'll just follow with that down to normal insert depth, which is I go to about 1 3/4 or so when I drill, just to kind of make sure I have the wiggle room. And then I do run a 1/2 inch of reverse in both of my fingers. So technically, like when I go to bowl the Open Championships, I have to shave my grips, which is annoying. But most of the time, I'm able to kind of squish down the grips enough to where I don't really need to shave them. And my tracks, most of my stuff is pinned up, which means that the bow ties go away from the fingers instead of towards them anyways. But even with that, my track I have enough up on my PAP that my track is far enough away from the fingers that I never actually catch the grips unless why are you stepping on my foot, Storm?
He really wants to go outside, and he's just going to be obnoxious until you get rid of him. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah, fair enough. So, anyways, I'm going to make some noise for a minute.
I know. Yeah, World Series of bowling on today. What time is that? Yep, that's Angel's Passport. I've got a HRV. Team Honda, anyway. Okay, so 1 o'clock. So yeah, we might be able to catch that.
That's right. USA versus the world singles matches.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Watching the WSOB, 14-year-old girl was there. Yeah, I think Bella Love is there. Yeah, what are you doing? You dangle floof?
Did you answer Scott's question about Reactive Slime?
Yeah, there's the next one. Yeah, when removing the Reactive Slime on shiny stuff, how far down do you take the surface to make it work? I generally put it on the resurfacing machine on 1,000 for about 10 minutes. Because if you do it on a spinner, it just doesn't get deep enough.
Yeah. If I was gonna do it on a spinner, I would just take a 500 pad and just mash on it.
Yeah, you just have to obliterate it, but then
Then you're taking away so much of the ball. It's almost a
yeah. So I just put a
problem.
So yeah, 1,000 grit pads. I don't need to get like 500s again. It's just gonna obliterate the.
Yeah.
You generally use 500, 360, and then they do. Pro shops have 100 grit. That normally after you're done plugging stuff, you'll do that, or if you're trying to get out scratches, gouges, whatever else.
So something that this is something my old pro shop, my PSO taught me was when you're plugging urethane balls, you almost need like a fresh 360 pad for the initial like strip down process, so you can cut everything without having to really mash on it, because urethane is like. It's easier to essentially take away a lot of material very quickly with a lot of pressure on a coarse grit pad. I think I'm saying that right.
You have something to add to this conversation here, Bucko? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? Use your words.
House hack bowling. I just get a baseball glove full of rocks and put it on a spinner. Honestly, big brain.
Yeah.
Galaxy brain strategery. I love it.
Oh, no way. Guy found a brand new Trauma ER and an X Factor in 15 pounds for $120 at a garage sale.
Oh my goodness.
Woof.
That is.
Thank you, sir.
That is find of the century right there.
Yeah. That's nuts.
You'd probably turn around and make like $800 profit on those on eBay instantly.
1750 in the Netherlands.
I've never been to the
Netherlands. For Americans who don't know what
550 in Americanese time format.
Yeah.
Although ironically enough, I've done this for several years now. I keep my phone on military time like that. It's just I read it instinctively enough. House hack bowling, I'll give you $121 for one of those right now.
Yeah, you could don't even drill those. You could just flip those and turn those right around you could sell those for $400 a piece.
Oh yeah.
Because the ER was popular and the original X Factor was definitely popular.
That's the one that smelled like Tootsie Rolls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bucko.
Okay, loud noises.
Yeah, you bad dogs.
Bad dogs, bad dogs. What you gonna do? There's my pencil.
All right, well, I'm gonna dip in here first. What do I have in here?
4 1/4 plus, which cross references to 4.5 minus.
Oh,
Perfect.
pink lemonade wild sours.
for right now, you can.
The Guinness that goes with peanut butter well. Actually, I have a... Where's that peanut butter one? I actually have a peanut butter beer in here somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mr. Bill sent peanut butter milk stouts, and I actually haven't had one of them yet. So we're gonna do that since Mr. Niffen brought us coffee this morning. Had something called a peanut butter power.
It's basically a peanut butter. It's a coffee.
Yeah,
it's a peanut butter milkshake with a hint of coffee. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably the best way to.
So yeah, this is a peanut butter milk stout.
Nice. Steal it for a sec. I don't need this anymore. I'm slowly learning to clean up after myself properly, so I don't leave Luke's shit everywhere on his entire workspace area. I'm not sure who judges me more for that, Luke or Angel.
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Sniff it.
I think it annoys Luke more, but I know Angel judges me harder. How about that?
You wouldn't like the taste, but
No, it annoys the crap out of me.
Okay. Fair.
It absolutely drives me insane when he comes home and drops something and says, I'll get it later, and then 3 days it's still not. And I'm like, no, it's later. Now it's later.
how many balls do you have now? Oh yeah, I have way too many. Yeah, it's like that South Park meme, and it's gone.
Yep. I think I'm at
bids
somewhere in the
are
high
starting-
50s right now.
Bids are starting at $600 for the pair. Oh yeah, you should be able to get way more than that.
Yeah.
The,
Oh, show.
So Luke left Thursday morning, and by Sunday noon, I'm looking around going, what else can I clean? Because everything was clean and done and put away, and nothing had randomly shown up on the table. I didn't have to
What?
where's this pile from? What do I have to do? No,
Yeah.
it all stayed put away. I was joking in Discord. I said, all right, I'm going to start taking
No.
bids for where can I send Luke.
Oh no, I have a few left. I need more of these little skinny dowels.
That's Hobby Lobby. That's my stop today.
Okay.
You're supposed to tell me before you get like less than
I didn't know that I had this many. Well, they're all mixed with the other ones, so I still have plenty of them left. But
Well, if you're not going to use the other ones, I wouldn't keep them.
huh? Well, no, I keep them for other things.
Oh.
Where's the dead sandpaper that I can use for scuffing?
Oh, I put it all in the here.
Or should I just steal one of the fresh
No.
ones? Oh, you put them in there?
Yeah, I put them because I took my cordless sander
Oh,
to
that's
nationals.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just dig all those back out of there
I'll take this. Yeah. Perfect.
because I won't.
These two are pretty well fresh. I'll stick those on top. This one is dead. I'm just gonna toss that. This one's perfect. So I use turbo switch grip slugs. So this one that I'm scuffing up with sandpaper right now. This is actually hold this in front of the camera. This is one of the outer sleeves that gets installed in the ball. So I'm just kind of scuffing up the outside of it just so the glue has enough surface area and texture to be able to adhere to it when I install it in the ball. So I am drilling 3 balls today, therefore 3 of these turbo sleeves, which the cost is actually not that much worse than normal slugs. So I think I could get these sleeves for about $9 or $10 a pop at Buddy's when I buy them in bulk. And then I figured out a couple tricks that basically ensures that I never actually have a slug pop out of the ball. So I drill like a couple of new slugs every 6 to 8 months, and I'm perfectly fine. So that is kind of how I do that. So are you trying to match the pink or the purple with that?
Actually, I just put way too much red in here.
Oh,
It came out way too fast. So
amateur color mixer, by the way.
yeah. Well, I think I need to dump this batch anyway because I need to prime the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too red.
Shannon Vander host, I have too many questions, so if you have enough, say stop. Now you're good, dude. Josh Rosen, are you going to touch on Nationals on the breakdown pair this week? Luke, I think you said you are. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be Nationals recap on the breakdown pair. Also watch my channel, Shimwrecker Enterprises, at some point in the very near future. Luke and I are going to record a Nationals recap video that will be going live on mine as well. A little more just kind of structured, bang, bang, done versus Luke and John talking about on breakdown pair. They're going to go down all sorts of rabbit trails. And then, Luke, you got a super chat question for $10 from Tim McIntyre. Thumb question. When first inserting my thumb, I have to work to get it in due to the sides being very tight at the knuckle. Fit, release, etc. are good during bowling. Any thoughts or suggestions? Thanks.
You might just have, do you have an oval, number one? If you've got an oval, you might just need an extra cut.
Just kind of expand the lateral part of it a little bit, essentially. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The red goes a long way.
Justin C. asked, how was the drive back?
We didn't have any adventures this year. Somehow.
I got the adventure this time. So I flew back. I transferred through Denver on Wednesday night. And essentially, so as we were on final approach, we're probably, less than 1,000 feet off the ground at this point, and I was sitting just behind the right wing in a window seat, and I look out and the flaps aren't fully deployed on the wings. I'm like, okay, something's up here. And we probably got within about 300 to 400 feet of the ground, I'd guess, and then the pilot pulls up and we circle back around. And as we're kind of in the process of circling back around to reapproach the runway, pilot comes on, sounds a little bit shaken, and says, there was other planes that were really close to the runway, so we pulled up for safety, and we'll have you on the ground shortly. So that was a little bit unnerving. I've flown quite a bit, especially to Kansas City, but in all my flying adventures, I've never had that happen. So thankfully, everything ended okay, but a little bit kind of in the moment there.
Yeah. So. Normally we have some kind of adventure, and we didn't have anything happen, so
yeah,
it's kind of different for us.
Yeah, Kent traded the adventure to me this year.
Yeah,
not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Shanna, what's your favorite ball weight and brand? Luke and I both throw 15s.
Yeah.
So I guess let's answer this in two parts. Let's say current favorite ball and all-time favorite.
Okay.
So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah. So mine would be.
I'm gonna guess yours is the Cosmos.
Close. It's between the Cosmos and I don't get to use the Cosmos as much because it's a little strong.
Yeah. It looked really good last night when we were out there at Royal Crest, though. I will say that.
Let's just do this.
Here, I'm going to move the camera over to follow the plug work a little more, since that's more interesting than me drilling. That work there. Tilt you down just a pinch. I'll leave it like that. That's fine. There we go. So current favorite, Cosmos is in the running, but you said it is not it.
Well,
so what is?
Revenant, Fate, Volt Pearl. They're also interchangeable right now. It's hard to pick a favorite.
That's fair.
And then all time is the ProMotion, but with the
never would have seen that coming.
Yeah, with the original Taboo, a very close second.
Okay.
Those in the basement.
This is probably going to sound so. My current favorite, just on how much I use it, is probably the NV Tour from Hammer. But I think the favorite that has surprised me that I have really, really, really liked, and I used it a little bit at Nationals when we were out in Reno earlier this week, is the Absolute. That ball does silly things that it has no business doing.
Yeah.
It works on so many different situations, and it's for being a quote unquote weak shell, big cover, big core dominant shiny ASIM. It covers a ton of ground, and so I've been very, very impressed with that. Favorite all time is actually sitting right here on the workbench. The original physics. Shot my career high series with one of those back in 2019. Was it 20? Yeah, 2019.
Was that the one that bumped out the code black?
The physics?
Because the code black was what it was when I met you, pretty sure.
Yeah, the code black is actually how I found Luke's channel.
Well, I knew that, but then I remember you saying that was the favorite ball of all time.
Yeah.
And then I knew it was physics, but I didn't know if it was.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it just works. And it's got NRG on it, like we were talking about last night. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get back to Tim's question here.
Tim has a very good question.
Yeah, and a good fit, ideally, should the sides of the thumb be as snug as the front and back? Yeah. So if one's too, if it's too snug one way or the other, then you need to make an adjustment. And some people do that with tape. We know like Keeler puts 11 pieces in every one of his thumbs.
Yeah, he doesn't. Steven actually doesn't use as much tape anymore. He's tweaked some things, but Zach puts like 16 pieces.
Yeah, I think 8 in the front and 8 in the back or something.
No, it's all in the front.
Oh.
He says that nobody can do an oval for him.
Yeah.
He actually creates his own oval.
Yeah.
I drive. You have fun on that one.
Oh, I'll make fun of him constantly because I'm bowling with him in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
Shout out to the top speed, Justin. Yeah, that's another favorite. My top speed was ridiculously good, but I've already got like 100 games on it, and the cover's kind of slowed down a little bit, and I haven't been super duper thrilled with that. So, Shannon Vanderhost, 15 pounds sounds heavy. Had to figure out what that is in kilograms. Yeah, it's like 32 kilograms, I think, somewhere in that range. 33 somewhere. It's like 2.2 kilograms per pound or something like that. I think. I might have that backwards. I don't know. Yeah. Having equipment that properly fits your hand and having good technique makes that a whole lot easier. Like I throw 15-pound equipment, but if I was going to use a house ball, I'd have to go down to probably a 12, just because of the hand strain that comes from not having equipment fitting my hand properly. Bowling DJ had a question for you, Luke. Jedi Luke, what is the shape reaction difference between the Hyped Solid and the Hustle PBR / Hustle USA?
Well, the PBR and the Hype Solid are on top of each other as far as
PBR is
reaction
just a little
shape.
stronger.
The PBR is just stronger, and then the USA is like a baby Nova. It's very tumbly.
The Hype Solid and PBR are going to kind of round off a little more at the break point, versus the USA is going to be a little heavier, more chuggy, lumbering almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought, but I've actually the USA is one that I'm kind of thinking might need to be in contention for my bag for nationals next year. Mm-hmm. Just, something where I can kind of just roll it down there and it fades off the end of the pattern instead of going off the end of the pattern almost.
Yeah.
So loud noises for a minute here.
So Tim, again, to kind of swing back around to your question, I'm not sure if it works for you. If it's a little snug getting in, some people have that problem, or especially if it depends on the climate that you're into, the humidity.
There's a little bit of personal fit preference in there as
Yeah,
well. I feel
yeah.
like.
So if there's a lot of people that do that, or they'll use the napkin trick, where they'll wrap a napkin around their thumb and then they'll put it in the hole and it'll kind of compress their thumb a little bit. But if you eat a lot of salt, or if you're in a kind of a drier climate, your hands will have a tendency to puff up. And so once you do get your thumb worked into the ball and everything's fine, then I'm not sure that there's really a problem with that. That color tone's really close. That is ugly.
And obviously, if people have knots on
Yeah.
sides and
Yeah.
whatever, it might be, well, it's a little big, but you've got to allow for the knot, or my hands get clammy or
Yeah.
sticky.
Yeah, well, that's why I have that giant fan that I carry around on my backpack. So, Kratos, my uncle has. Oh, hi, Kratos. Congrats on the $2.99, by the way, dude. Great bowling. My uncle has a USA. He puts next to no hand in the ball, and it looks good for him still, despite all that. I actually think that people who play straighter are like the perfect target audience for the USA and balls that shape like that. Like like if there was an ideal like medium weakish up 10 ball in the SPI catalog right now, that's it. I feel like.
Now, I think we need to loop back. So, details on Kratos, though.
Yes.
So, he was sick, bedridden, could not walk, autoimmune, whatever,
Yeah.
and manages to shoot 299.
And
so, all
it
those
was like-
people who are like, I can't do it, you stuff it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, you freaking
Say it
can.
louder for the people in the back, Angel.
Oh my God, no, you do not need Angel yelling.
Shanna Vanderhost, are you going to try out the balls you're plugging right now? These are actually
These
two of
going
these
to
are.
some-
One of those is all three of those are your old balls, right?
Yeah, well, the intensity is Angel's.
Yeah.
These are all going to Alex, right, Angel?
Two are going to Alex, the other one's going to his dad. But,
Which one's going to his dad?
Intensity, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll still just. Yeah. Well, that's probably a perfect layout for him then.
So these are going to someone else. They're being gifted on
then
from Luke and Angel.
whose ball is that in the bag?
That's Alex's for fit. Or-
Okay, and then you sent me the picture of Rick's. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. I think I'm ready to pour on the intense tie.
Nice.
Close enough.
So Shanna,
So they
these
end up
are
looking black
on the way
anyway,
out,
so-
so Luke will not be trying them to short answer your question. Will James asked, when you plug and redrill, can you redrill where the new finger holes overlap a bit with the old ones?
Yeah.
Or will it make it too weak durability wise?
No, I've done that. I've actually I did that in this
Oh yeah, that's right.
this ball.
Yep. So it's definitely, as long as you take care of it and plug it correctly, it's perfectly fine. I think is the short answer there.
So yeah, this was
Good
a
plug jobs you can reuse over and over. Bad
Yep.
plug jobs, just throw in the dumpster.
Yep. That's a good answer.
yeah. If you
Good answer. Good answer.
can see down in the hole there.
Yeah, you can see it pretty well. Yep. Perfect.
It's a
A little bit of overlap, but I mean, especially when you're using grips, it's literally not an issue at all.
yeah. So
The only
Yep.
concern would be structural integrity, but as long as you use solid, like correct plug that's going to hold up as it cures and you cure it correctly, then it's not a
Well,
problem.
and that's partially why Luke lets everything set for 24 hours before he ever touches it.
Yeah, is to make sure it sets correctly so that it's got the structural integrity part nailed down. Luke, you saw you had a new member, right?
yep.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm waiting for you. I want.
Oh, you want it back?
Yeah. We won't get it all, but that works.
Close enough. And then Luke, could you bring the camera over here for a second? Because I want to show the people this trick that I have for my turbo slugs. So this is an installed turbo sleeve. As you can see, I've got it shaved down so it's perfectly flush with the ball. And then you can't really see it all that well, but there's this like lip, there you go. There's this lip of plastic that's been shaved down.
Yeah.
And so what I'm actually gonna do here is I'm gonna go back to the pitches that I used when I drilled the slug, which is 1/8 left, no reverse. And then you'll notice I have a 1 3/8 bit on the press right now. That is the inside diameter of the final finished hole that should be, or the inside of the turbo sleeve. And so essentially I'm gonna run this bit down to just before the bottom locking mechanism. And that will clean up all of this crap at the top, but also ensure that I don't have any issues with the inside diameter of the sleeve so that it's properly sized. And so that gives me a very consistent ball-to-ball result of, like when I do this process, I literally never have problems with my slugs actually going in the sleeve properly because I've got this process that gets it super duper consistent.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the few things I managed to actually teach you about pro shop work. Yeah. Because that was something I figured out before I moved out here, and then I showed you and you were like, huh.
Yeah, because normally what I would do is I would just take a double knife and get off the top, and then I would stick the sander down in there.
Do
and
the
buzz it a
double
few
sander,
times.
yeah.
But it's just as easy to run that down there and pop it back out.
It's way more consistent is the thing. Like you don't have to worry about buzzing for a certain amount of time or, oh crap, what if I have a new piece of sandpaper on my bevel sander, yada, yada, yada. Pitch plugging is allowed on tour. I think it's just not a full
pitch
plug-in
plugging,
retail.
but yeah, if there's any plug visible.
Yeah, that.
So yeah, if you are plugging a bridge, then that won't work because there's plug visible.
Yeah.
But if you drill the hole back in the same place that you plugged it, then you'll be fine.
Bam, have you ever thought about opening your own pro shop? With your influence in the bowling community, people would flock to you for advice. However, with YouTube editing, making videos, I can see it. Luke actually got started on YouTube because he ran a shop in Topeka.
Yeah.
And I think to put a long story very short, business partners can be shitty people sometimes. I think it's a decent short way to say that. And Luke is no longer in the pro shop business as an occupation. And as far as I know, there's not really much of a desire to go back.
No, not really, because it's just the problem with it is that I would have no problem doing it. It'd be fine, and I know the ins and outs and know my way around. But the schedule is it's all second shift and weekends, and so trying to get away for tournaments or just basic life stuff.
It's kind of hard. Yeah. Well, if I ever hit the Powerball and I open my own bowling center, I'll just pay you like 6 figures to run the shop in the center. How about that? Sound good? Sounds good.
That'd be a different story.
Bowling DJ, what are your favorite 2 balls for short, wet, dry patterns or long patterns with some volume? He's ordered 3 balls from your Bowler Smart Links as well.
Yeah, sweet.
Short stuff and wet, dry. I know we touched on it a minute ago. The USA is very high up there for me, I think, as a wet, dry, but shorter type of ball. You know, you want something with a smoother response, not a super high differential, that'll just kind of be able to blend everything but still roll through the pins properly. And then I think you're also going to be talking about a urethane like a pitch black or something along those lines for that. And then long stuff, for me that's like big shit, like big ASIM with not much surface on it, you know, reality physics type stuff.
DNA,
if I can get it to go through the pins right. But if it's long, there just might not be enough time front to back for it to actually get into the roll phase properly. Which that's going to be the one kryptonite of that ball.
This was tricky for me last time for some reason.
Got a question from Marcio, who is the guy who just joined your membership. He's still using his code red at 4K for sport patterns. Looking for kind of a more modern replacement for that.
Okay. Oops.
Any ideas? That was the one. That's the one that's R2S hybrid, right? The red one.
Yeah.
Because I always saw that as a little on the smoother side for what you would expect on paper.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that the dark code reacts a lot like the red. It's just the dark code's got so much bigger of a cover.
Yeah. Sorry, loud noise.
The absolute. The absolute is really quick.
Absolute at 4,000. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the absolute is really close because the core strengths are similar and the cover strength it's R2S deep hybrid versus R2S deep hybrid versus R2S hybrid.
Yeah.
So very, very close in terms of the absolute. I think it's cleaner and quicker though. I don't think that the core is quite as strong because that core, the Rad 4 core is a frickin' monster.
Yeah. When I had a Code Red, it reminded me of like if you added just a little bit of int diff to a Marvel Pearl. That's kind of what it felt like.
Very arcy.
Yeah. It was one of those balls where it always did what it did, but it responded to hand position changes at the same time.
Yeah, I think the absolute's a little too long and quick.
Add a little bit of surface.
You could add some surface and you'd get really close. It does have that kind of archy feel to it.
Yeah. Will James, am I wrong to think the turbo sleeves taper down a little bit? And if so, does drilling it out make it a little bit looser, or is it not an issue? Yes, that's actually why I do that, is when I first started using, I've been using Turbo's thumbs for probably 2.5 years now, give or take. And so that's actually why I started kind of figuring out these tricks, is when I started using them, they were having a lot of like sleeve to sleeve inconsistencies with inside diameter. And so I was trying to figure out ways to kind of correct for that essentially. So running that 1 3/8 bit gives you a very consistent, it guarantees that you're going to hit that minimum inside diameter that you need to properly get the sleeve in there. But what actually happens at that point is if I have one of my slugs right here, and this is a finished sleeve. So that's actually like it fits in and out, literally zero issues whatsoever, but it is a pinched loose around the sides of the slug. This is a very new one, so the tabs haven't worn down. So what I actually do as a finishing step is I'll take a bevel knife and just kind of mark up the inside of the outer. And so that gives me a little bit of that friction fit, but in a very consistent size.
Yeah.
And so that just kind of, essentially I do enough machining work, so to speak, on the inside of the sleeve that it takes away any possibility of the sleeve being too snug or too loose. And so it makes an incredibly consistent ball to ball.
Another thing that's weird with these things too is that they have a lip at the very bottom here. It kind of goes out.
Yeah.
And so I shave that off, otherwise it just kind of scrapes all the glue off the sides of the hole all the way down.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Shanna, the ball I have on the drill press right now is actually an older ball. It was poured about 3 years ago. It's a Storm Physics.
Bam. Imagine having thumb problems.
Yeah.
Bam must be a two-hander.
I think he is. So this is a Storm Physics that I have on the press right now. And then, just move the camera real quick. This ball right here is a 900 Global Reality. It's a very new ball. It's still being made right now. And then this ball over here is a Rotor Grip Show Off. It's an older ball. Strongish, symmetrical piece. So should be pretty fun to throw.
This is going to be interesting because I screwed this up last time. I got it right at one point because the fingers look amazing, but
you just can't remember how to do it now.
Yeah, I have no idea. So we'll find out together.
It's going to be an adventure.
This is the next one I'm plugging, and there's just a little bit of the magenta in there. But
sorry, you're just going to go for the blue?
I'm just going to go for the blue because even with it up here, I could have mixed it, but I got it so close that I'm like, oh well. Okay,
if you can't make it disappear, then make it make sense. Is kind of the general rule, right?
Yep, that's what we're going to do on this one. Like that.
Bowling DJ, 2 people that have drilled for me in the past use different depths for thumb sleeves. Wouldn't it be better for all drillers to use the same depth? Well, if you drill to a different depth than everybody else, that makes your thumbs proprietary. Yeah. And some people just want to cling on to business any way they can.
Yeah. Basically what happens is with the collar on the, so this is the bit for the switch grip. And so there's a collar on here.
I'm gonna do loud noises. You talk for a minute.
Yeah. So there's a collar on here. So basically all you do is the collar stops the ball. So you don't have to worry about a depth. You just drill down until the collar hits the top of the ball, and then that's how far it goes. That's how you get the same depth from ball to ball. Some people, you can see that there's an Allen wrench screw on the collar so that you can move it up or down. Some pro shops will adjust the collar height or depth so that you have to go to them because everybody else will screw it up. Oh. Alex, yep. Take your time on my gift, please. Yeah. We're that's what we're doing right now is we're actually plugging your stuff there, Alex. So So these collars all come preset from the factory, and so they're the same depth when they come out of the factory. It's not like they just come out at random and then you adjust it where you want it. Some pro shops will, again, change the collar depth, and so if you go somewhere else, it'll either the hole be too deep or it'll be, not deep enough or whatever else, and they will screw your ball up. And so you have to go back and then, I went somewhere else and they screwed my ball up, and so then, that's kind of how that works. So it's a scam.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a question in here, Black Tip, Bass Mods. How will the show off compare to the Phase 2? So if you run them at the same surface, I believe the show off is gonna hook a little sooner than the Phase 2 because NRG is an earlier cover and it has a pile of surface on it. But it's also not going to roll as early because it's got that mushroomy core that's got like a 255 RG, which is a good bit higher than the, 248 in the face core? Is that right? 15?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna hook a little earlier and roll a little bit later. I'm setting up my show off a pinch different though. It is gonna be pin up, but I think you can kind of see it right there. It is a little bit on the shinier side already. I touched it with a 4000 pad before I drove over here this morning. So I have a lane shined 4-inch pin down Venom shock that I use quite a bit for later block situations on house shot when they're a little cliffy. Love the shape, it's just not quite enough core to get through the pins sometimes. And so that was kind of my thought with drilling this show off, is that it'll be in that same realm, but just have a little more motor inside of it to help it, get around the corner correctly. So that's the thought process there. So to answer your question, like for like, the show off will hook earlier and roll later than a Phase 2. With how I'm setting my show off up, it's going to be later and later, but a more extended hook phase versus a Phase 2. So that's what I'm trying to hit there. I hope that, I know that was a very long answer to a very not long question, but there is some nuance that plays on this one, so I wanted to do it, give it some justice. Luke, is that green you just put in there for an idle synergy?
Yeah.
Color matching 101. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yep, neon green specifically.
Nice.
That'll get me to the teal color, and then I need a little bit of white.
Yeah, that's a much more tealy blue when you actually think about it than what you instinctively like. Yeah. That just looks like a blue and pink bowling ball.
Yeah. So. Until you put blue in there, and it's like, oh, well, that's not blue, that's teal. All
right, I'm gonna make Storm Master.
Loud noises.
Yeah, loud noises incoming. I'll just leave the mic on for this one.
Check the dangos. the Code Master. Yeah.
Code Master? Which one is that?
It's an overseas ball.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if I've seen that one.
From what you said about the top speeds cover wearing down after 100 games, perhaps the HK22 base isn't as durable as their non-HK22 base covers. That would make sense if HK22 is a storm cover. What?
Well, first off, zing. Secondly, and I did say this to Justin in chat while you were answering another question, is the drop off was not that significant, if I'm being honest. The way I was using my top speed was I needed it to be like firm, angry, aggressive off the end of the pattern. And it was kind of on the smoother side of that when it was fresh. And then kind of as the cover's bedded in, it's just kind of gotten it a little further away from that idea is essentially what happened. And I'm also very picky about cover stock friction response because of my rev rate. So that's kind of why that happened the way it did, if that makes sense. It's not to like, I still think HK22 is a very, very good cover. It looks great on a ton of stuff, so not trying to knock that at all. DJ, I am James. I assume you're talking about me. I do appreciate the kind words. I've been trying to actually cut down on my rev rate a little bit recently, so happy to send a few your way if you can figure out how to make that happen. Would not complain about that in the slightest. I'd rather knock the pins down than look flashy. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. Which that is one funny thing, Luke. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but even with all the fit changes and everything else, I've barely lost any rev rate. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I want my ball to blend more, not go insane off the end of the pattern. Boink. That right there. That's pretty close. Any other? How many promotions do you have right now, Luke?
I think I've got 6, maybe 7.
That sounds about right.
6 or 7, I think.
Not enough, in other words.
Yeah. I'm really slacking.
Well, I think you said you're going to be stashing up a bunch of Cosmoses as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that ball looks crazy good for you. Okay, there's that.
I don't think I did this the last time, but since this has purple mica in it, I'm pretty close on the tealy color, but it's just a little tealy. Just going to add the very, very smallest little tiny... There we go.
Bam, my rev rate is 500-ish. It was 550 a couple years ago, and it has dropped slightly. I was down at Kegel. My parents live about an hour away from the Kegel Training Center in Florida, so I went there to practice over Christmas, I think.
We've got a winner, folks.
And Specto is pretty consistently clocking my rev rate, and then at 500 to 520, and I've cleaned things up a little more since then, so I'm probably 500. It's probably a pretty decent guess. If I catch it, I can get to 550, but I'm not in that realm very often. Checking on the doggies.
Yeah. We talk about pickle chips. Bam lives by the Kegel Training Center. How do you arrange to use Specto there?
You can just call ahead and reserve lanes for like a half day. And like in my case, I gave him a call a few days before and I was like, hey, I'd like to come out and practice. And you just schedule a time with the training center. And then you can, it's either 50 or 55, I think, for a half day, which is like a 8 to noon or noon to 4 type of time frame.
That's pretty good price, actually.
It's a good, yeah. So you pay that. It's a flat rate. You can throw all you want, and you have full access to like Specto and all their training tools they have there.
Yeah, that's
and you can have them put out whatever, like anything in the Kegel pattern library you can ask for to have them put out as a pattern for you to practice on as well. So it's actually like every time I go to Florida, I make sure to take a bag with me and go to Kegel because it is the most workman-like bowling facility I've ever been in, for lack of a better term. Like, there's nobody there just horsing around or goofing off or anything. Like, it is a very serious business environment, if that makes sense. Like, people are there because they care about bowling and want to get better at bowling. And that kind of, it is literally elite, is the best way I can think to describe it.
pretty sure that's not the way that I got there the first time, but I at least matched what I did. So.
Hey, we like those. So I hope that helps, Bam.
So yeah, this is
Oh, Rick Jimenez is here. He's asking how you would compare the intensity to the Black Widow Gold that he was throwing on Thursday.
the intensity is going to be a little bit longer and sharper, just because the Black Widow
formula
Gold has a lot more core, especially. Yep. So there's the.
But I don't think the intensity is going to be as much directional change either. It's going to be like that. I see the intensity as kind of Nova-ish.
Yeah, it's a little longer, and a little. It's more like a. It's definitely a step down. It's more like a step up from your high road.
Yeah. So it's like an ASIM high road X essentially.
Yeah.
So it'll should split that gap pretty well. It's a shape of love though, I can tell you that.
That's a little bluish, I guess, yet. But it's hard to see in the
Storm
through
Dog.
the cup, but I'll dump it, and I need to add a little bit more green, actually. A little bit more green, and then we'll be there. Very close.
Turbo sleeve for my second ball going in. Lined it up perfectly.
Yeah, Mr. Rick's going to be on YouTube here a little bit later. He shot 2 300s on Thursday.
Yeah, it's 300 transition slugs, 190, and then another 300, which is pretty cool. I think he said that's the first time he's ever gone 2 300s in the same set.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that hadn't happened very often for hardly anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure Russ has done that.
I'm sure he has at some point.
Oh, possibly.
I came close a couple years ago.
Jesus.
I went 204, 300 front 10, and I needed the 11th hit to go 2-0 game one for 800, and I shoved it and 2-8'd. So
yeah, I have gotten close.
588. The back two is still pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, I had 22 in a row. I shot 300, and then had the front 10 the next game in 4-pinned or something.
Nice.
Righty. Jason Crouch has back-to-backs. I think he's done it a couple times. Not Couch, Crouch.
Yeah.
For all of those. Oh, yeah, Jason Couch. No. I have a buddy named Jason Crouch.
Yeah. And the best part was I'm looking at my pin pal right now. My 10th frame of game one was a 7-10 split that I missed. I went 7-10, 22 bagger.
Here we are. Now we're back.
Good move, I guess.
No, it looks too green. As soon as I turn the lights off.
Womp womp.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. No, we're good. We're good. I'll turn it around so that it's easier to... Well, no. Turn it this way. That way they can see the...
Kratos, you shot 299 last night, dude. I think you're already pretty close. Kratos was like, I want to be elite.
Yeah.
Like, for where you are and where you're coming back from, dude, you're doing freaking amazing. Hold your head, like, seriously, hold your head high over that, dude.
Yeah.
Props. Big props. All right, loud noises for a sec here.
Get him buckled.
2. Where'd I put my slug? Where's my slug? Oh, it's in there. Let's make sure that this goes in right, and it fits perfectly.
Sweet.
2 for 2.
All right, so this will cure a little darker, and it's kind of hard to see because this is dull instead of shiny, because the plug is shiny.
That is very, very close.
The plug is shiny, but the ball is dull. Let's see if this will... Let me spin the ball around here. See it from the other direction. But yeah. So that's what we're looking at. And then if this is just a little shinier, but see the way that, see again, this is weird how this works because you have the light on and this looks so much brighter than the rest of the ball. Then you turn it off and the plug looks darker. So it's just once we get it cut down and everything, whatever else, that's going to be pretty close. If nothing else, you're not going to be able to see it. So sweet. And then this is getting a full plug because the fingers are going back over here where they used to be in the first place. So I'm going to plug those fingers there, and then those fingers are going to get drilled right back out. So, heck yeah. Then again, there's a... Turn the lights back on. The match on that one will look pretty good when we're done. So now I got the exotic to do. That one's just the exotic and the honey badger intensity are just getting thumb plugs. I'm going to leave the fingers where they're at because I think that layout will be cute for the new owners. This one's going to be a little tricky because I didn't quite get it right last time. It's purple and it's red and there's some white in there and there's plenty of...
What is that, the exotic
gold.
purple?
Yeah, the exotic
Yeah, I could
purple.
totally see red being in there.
Yeah.
I could almost, well, I could almost see a little bit of yellow, as weird as that sounds.
Well, and I think I'm going to use gold for that.
Or yeah, gold, that makes sense. Yeah, because the gold gives some sparkle as well.
Yep.
Also, we have a very smart person in the chat. It's a Gorilla Glue enthusiast.
Yeah.
Big brain.
Yeah. How goes it? It goes.
It goes indeed. Luke is doing some plug work, and I am drilling some cool bowling balls.
So
Luke,
all the colors in that Synergy pour right there, there is Motive Silver, there is Vice Purple, Vice Green, Vice Blue, and Vice White.
oh my goodness.
So that's what it takes to get Synergy Teal.
That's a lot.
But I don't have any purple mica, unfortunately, so the purple color doesn't quite do the...
You get it close enough.
Yeah, if I had purple silver, like if I had Beans Pearls, there's a guy that makes his own plug color. Yeah. And it's great, and his are...
Ooh, do you have any Spindrift in the fridge?
No, I think we're out.
Oh, bummer. Okay, no worries.
I think we're out.
But yeah, Gorilla Glue. So we're doing a bunch of plug work, or Luke's doing plug work, and I'm drilling bowling balls. You can see here on the workbench, this is an original Reality that I've taken to 4,000. Drilled kind of medium strong but smoothish. Then this ball right here is an original Physics that I had sitting new in box on my shelf. Got it from a friend of mine a couple months ago. And then on the press right now is an older ball. That is the Rotogrip Show Off. So the cover is, I believe it's 80H Microbyte is what they called it. But basically it's NRG solid with a 255 RG 045 diff symmetrical core. So it's going to kind of hook early, but have a more extended roll phase, or more extended hook phase. And so this is going to be kind of a mid to late block stable symmetrical ball for house shots is kind of my general expectation of it.
I might send Slim or something and see what the difference is between Microbyte and Microtracks.
I mean,
it's probably the same thing.
Because having, like, because I had a Haywire back when that was around, and it feels like NRG. Like there might be some slight differences, just like they slightly tweaked the phase 2 cover to go on the Wild Streak with Sure Tracks, but same deal. So
Yeah, so this thumb hole is completely in the purple. So
yeah.
I'm
So you're just going to
do
try and
purple.
match the purple on that.
But what I'm anticipating needing is purple, blue, red, silver, and gold. Because that's not just straight up purple. It looks purple until you see what purple looks like, and then it's not purple. So
I feel like that's the number one rule of plug work is you think you know what it is until you actually try it, and then it's nowhere close. But
that's probably what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put the gold and silver and the purple in, and then show everybody how
how far off it is.
it's like, yeah, we're not actually close. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Is that right? It doesn't look so big. Okay.
I think if I remember right, I had to be very gentle with the gold last time because it packs a punch. So I'm just going to do 1 drop of that for now.
I'm actually gonna. Yeah, I'll just redo that one.
Just put 1 drop of purple for now.
Always rule 1 of ball drilling: measure twice, then measure twice again, then cut.
Yeah.
Now, I just looked at the finger lines for my show off, and they looked a little spread apart because with my fit, my ring finger span is 3/16 longer than my middle finger span. And I think I just missed a little bit long because I drew the fingers first.
Yeah.
And then drill the fingers and then pull the thumb span off of that. And I looked at the finger span, it looked just a little bit off. And I checked it, and it was actually, instead of 3/16, it was a quarter. And especially with my thumb fit and not running as much bevel anymore, I'm very, very sensitive to miss as long a span. I'd almost rather miss short. And so rather than try to account for it later, I'm just going to redraw that finger line right now with the correct.
Right meow?
Yeah, what's that, meow? With the correct gap, I guess, for lack of a better term, in the fingers, so that when I pull my thumb span, it should just be centered right on the grip center line.
All right.
So once I'm done drawing this, I'll grab the camera and show you guys what that looks like.
Okay. And then I'll do an in-depth on the plug here.
Perfect. So now that I've got that done, so this is my show off. So yeah, so that's middle finger span and then ring finger span. So middle finger here, ring finger here, obviously, and then just I need to run a little bit shorter middle finger. So that's a 3/16 offset there, and so then I'll drill both of these, and then I'll use this little ball ruler doohickey and that nub on the end, essentially put that in the fingers and then pull it down, and that's how you get your thumb span, and then that's determines where I cut that. So nothing crazy, but you know, is getting the thumb correct is hugely important. So good question there from Gorilla Glue, Luke, for you to take a look at.
Yeah.
And while you do that, I'm going to loud noise for a minute.
Yeah, too much goes into drilling a ball for a one-hander. A lot of variables you need to consider. That is accurate.
Yeah, very much so.
I'll allow it. Yeah, can I plug a ball with leftover countertop epoxy, or is the type you guys use specific for bowling balls? I believe it's kind of, there's a lot of things that's used for bowling balls that are just regular stuff.
You could probably build it from Home Depot, but it's safer to use purpose-built.
Yeah, I think that there's ball plug is specifically tailored for bowling balls, but yeah, regular
It's built out of regular materials.
Basically it is epoxy. That's all it is epoxy, but it's kind of specifically tailored for bowling balls. So all right, so I do have the gold, the silver, and the purple mixed.
I got to see how close this is.
So see, that's
close-ish, but it's definitely not there.
Yeah, that's purple.
Yeah.
That is not purple.
Yeah. And so that's purple with gold in it, and it's still that far off.
Yeah, purple, silver, and gold.
That's really interesting.
So I'm going to turn this around so that you can see the purple. Turn the lights off so that you can actually see it. So that is gem purple. That is actual purple. I think you can tell that that's not, aside from being too deep, too dark.
Yeah, it's close-ish, but it's definitely
Too
not
deep,
there.
too dark. But yeah,
Too purple.
yeah. So so the exotic purple is definitely not perfect purple because this is purple. Yeah. that is red and purple.
Yeah.
As soon as I tell you, you can see it because it's like, okay, well, what's the difference between what's in the cup and what's on the ball? Red. So as soon as I add red, we're gonna be in business.
Yep. Had a question from Marcio in the chat. Redrilling a left-handed symmetrical ball for me with the turbo switch. Can I suppose that I'll create significant reduction of the drilling angle? If you're a righty and you're redrilling from left-handed, you should really just plug everything and start from scratch.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really correlate, if that makes sense, in my mind at least. Like, especially because unless you're drilling everything 0-0 with the turbo sleeve, then you're going to want to redo that as well, because the turbo sleeve is directly tied to how your thumb sits in the slug, and nobody's got a perfectly round thumb, realistically speaking. Like, even if you have a round hole, you're going to put tape in at specific angles around the hole, and if the sleeve isn't oriented properly, then that's going to be at the wrong angle, essentially. So recommendation there is just drill everything out full plug, start from scratch, and you can do whatever you want with it, essentially.
Now there we go. This is more of a grape and less of a purple.
Yeah, I could see that. So what'd you do? You just add some red to it and
I just one drop of red. So as soon as I add the one drop of red, you can see the tone is right, but it's still too deep.
So how are you going to bring, is that, because I know purple can get really, if you do like purple and a bunch of white, it gets really gray, which is kind of weird. So how are you going to bring that up? Does that make sense?
So yeah, there's the tone is correct now. I'm going to add one drop of white. Sometimes if I have a lot of silver in it, I will just go on ahead and add silver.
Just dump more silver in to
brighten it up.
Yeah.
However, this is not completely transparent.
Yeah.
There's like this teal specifically, that's got white in it. There's no way that you get that because it's kind of a washed out.
It's an opaque teal, I think is the correct term.
Yep. This is going to get one drop of white.
All right, loud noises.
Here's the one drop of white.
Oh wow, that's a big difference.
I mean, it's the same. So now I want to brighten it up a little bit. I might add. I think it will take another drop of white, and then I'll just balance with silver and gold.
Yeah.
But look how
that's really close, though.
I mean, that's
a little too deep, and that's gonna purple cures darker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much everything, especially using the Vice colors.
Yeah.
Everything cures darker, so sometimes you have to add a little bit of, because it looks brighter in the cup because there's light hitting the plug from more angles.
Yeah. But then it's.
Would you pay for an Idol Pro?
Huh?
Or would you bother?
What?
How much would you pay for an Idol Pro, or would you bother? That's.
I really do like the Pro. I have some other balls that are similar to the Pro, but 150, 200-ish.
Okay. Would you bother though if you had a chance?
Probably not. I've got stuff that Pink Hustle is basically the same ball. It feels like the same ball. It's not the same ball, but it's basically the same ball. All right, now look at this. One more drop of white, and I just need glitter.
Yeah, add a little more texture to it with the silver, and you're off to the races. That looks incredible.
So yeah, I really just need more.
So will the gold lighten it, or not really?
The gold will lighten it.
Okay.
But it mostly makes it yellow, and we'll just add the gold undertones, kind of.
Yeah.
It won't get sparkly. It's a little bit too fine.
Okay.
to get sparkly. That's the other.
But
weird
it
thing
adds
is-
depth to it more than anything.
Yeah, see, now you
Rick
can
said, good work, Plugmaster, by the way.
Yep.
Rick's watching right now.
Thank you, sir. But yeah, then I can just, bring it out, make the swirly sparklies in there.
That looks really, really, really
Might
close.
take just another tiny touch of red, but
that's splitting hairs at that point,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, that's freaking
this is where we're at now, and that's a little deep, but pretty well right on top of it.
If you can't match it, make it look good. Or if you can't, make it disappear.
So
But yeah, I forget who asked about this earlier. It may have been Bam, but it's like this level of attention to detail is why Luke is one of the best shop guys in the country. And there is a very short list of people I would trust to drill my own equipment, and he is on that for very obvious reasons because the amount of work he's putting into color matching a thumb on a ball he's giving away, like, this is Luke with everything. So
yeah,
and that level of attention to detail and precision makes things really, really nice. So there, I talked you up a little bit.
Yep, appreciate it. Okay. There we go. Just that little bit of red makes it pop now. Actually, I think I need another, because now it's getting a little washed out. Might need one more drop of purple as I kind of, because you can see it's getting a little washed out now.
That's getting a little towards that kind of, add a bunch of white and it
grayish.
gets grayish, which is really interesting.
But just
one
so
drop
I
should be
need
enough.
one drop of this, and then I might need one more drop of white, because this is going to darken it, but it's going to add that body or that tone back to the
exactly.
color.
All right, loud noises on my side for a second.
You just kind of nip it and tuck it until you feel like you're there, and then probably shouldn't mess around with it too much longer.
I was going to say, it feels like with color matching, there's a point, or this is the impression I get at least, there's kind of a point of like, you could nitpick it more, but nitpicking it more might actually get you further away from the end goal.
I've done that before.
Yeah. So it's almost just kind of like, I know you hate this phrase, but it's almost, you got to almost say, good enough, and just kind of call it at that point.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Just a little bit more silver to brighten it up.
There you go. Right now.
I think we're
I mean,
about as close as I'm going to get it, because the problem with sometimes I don't know how they get these this bright, because when you get it bright, you tend to wash the color out.
Yeah.
And then when you add more color, you make it darker.
then it's hard to make it bright, but also have rich colors at the same time.
So
Yeah, Marcio, I get what you're saying about that with the. Oh, that's a black tip. That's actually kind of cool, dude. Does color match on instrument repair, more art than science. Yeah, that's very much how it is with bowling ball color matching too. So I'm sure you sympathize with what Luke is doing a lot more than most, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, we're there now.
Marcio, is that my comments still apply of like you would have to drill out and put in a fresh sleeve and everything else, so it's like you might as well just full plug it at that point. But if you're making that change, I mean, it's a symmetrical ball, so the drilling angle doesn't matter, fundamentally speaking. Reality check versus exotic gem. Luke, you've thrown the exotic, I haven't. I think the check is kind of quicker, rounder.
The check is much cleaner and quicker.
Yeah, much cleaner, quicker, but also more of a round, boomy shape versus the exotic just chugs and lumbers.
The exotic is like a freaking huge Nova. Huge Nova.
I could see that. Also, you're making me want an exotic now. Jerk.
Yeah.
Although I have other balls that do that anyways.
Yeah, I think we're there. I might need one more drop of white.
Oh.
One more drop of white, because otherwise it's going to be too dark and it's still a little too transparent. But I've got the color tone exactly where I want it now.
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah, I just need a little bit more backbone because it's still, I want it swirly, but it's still a little too, it's still a little too deep in the dark parts.
Yeah. There's like such small changes at this point.
Yeah.
Because
Bucko?
You're like,
Bucko. Hey, off. Off, you retard. You dingus.
good boy. No. Good boy.
What are you doing, Bucko?
Being
All
bad.
right, this is perfect.
Storm Dog being bad. As per usual.
All right, yeah, this might be one of the better ones I've ever done.
Storm Dog say boo.
I've only sat here and messed with it for 15 minutes. So, yep, we're going to go ahead and pour
So you
this.
just said it's going to be one of the best ones you've ever done, which means
It's going to come out terrible.
Exactly.
What, Woof? I know, it's great. Go talk to Mama.
Hi, Aspen. Aspen Pig. Hi. Hi, friend. Hi, Aspen. Yeah, that's a good dog. Hi,
Right.
Needles.
So, there we have it. And that will cure darker.
That's a good Needles. Yes, you are.
Yeah, it's really, there we go.
You get it?
Can see it. Dag nab. If we get the light in the right spot.
Holy cow, that looks good, dude. That's sick.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So, yeah, as soon as this cures, it's going to be a little darker, not quite as sparkly. So we should be, I mean, if I can get it in there, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So,
Exotic versus Infinite, Luke. The Exotic's still going to like chug lumber for days. Infinite's going to be slower, runs rounder, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Storm. Out of the way, dude.
yep, I like it.
I need space.
I like it, I like it. All right, back to this.
Storm, I need personal space. I know you don't know what that is, but...
Yeah, let me line all these up now. Hey.
That's perfect timing, so I'm about to just take over the bench and go bang bang on my finish work.
There we go. Now I've got them under the light now. That looks a whole lot better.
That looks sick.
Sweet.
It's almost like you know what you're doing or something like that. Weird.
Yeah, once either the ball, once I get that done, and once I get in the same surface, they'll look a whole lot better. That's a little dark, but I'm not too worried about it because I got to resurface the whole thing anyway. So we're going to end up in a good place, I think. So shop vac, dusty shop vac. Fun fact: there's dust involved.
Go figure. Never would have seen that coming.
All right. You can't. Yeah, I know. As soon as I said it, I realized I can't say that on YouTube. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Can't say what on YouTube?
The R word.
Huh. Hope you don't get canceled.
Yep, probably will. Of course, it's really weird that in our Discord server, we've got some people from different countries, and they have different words that are more offensive over there than they are over here. Angel mentioned that her laptop spazzed out, but spaz in England apparently is very, very derogatory, and over here it's just kind of it's used kind of the way that they use mental or something over there. Because I mean, if you called somebody mental over here, it's almost like saying the R word.
Yeah.
But over there, it doesn't mean saying that somebody's gone mental is about like saying that somebody's spazzing out over here. So
Yeah.
it's weird.
Language is weird. Cultures are weird. But it's kind of like it's easy to end up in our own little bubble to a certain extent. So it is kind of interesting to learn about those differences.
Yeah.
Just in a, I guess, respectful way, for lack of a better. I can't think of the right word to use.
I guess, Storm, I'm just gonna have to figure out something else to call you. What are you? What derogatory term that can I call you that is acceptable? Woof.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Storm dog say boof.
So we need some kind of derogatory, insulting
Dum-dum.
name for Storm Dog that's also socially acceptable.
Just call him Dum Dum.
Yeah.
Storm Dog the Dum Dum. I like that. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just solved your problem. You're welcome.
Yeah. Bucko.
Dum Dum.
Yeah.
That.
They used to have a sucker called Dum. You remember the suckers that were little,
Yeah,
the little suckers
lollipop,
called
the Dum Dum
Dum-Dums?
lollipop. Yeah.
I just call you Lollipop. What are you doing, Lollipop? People won't understand it.
I mean, people don't understand you calling Aspen pickle chips, so.
Yeah.
All right, loud noises.
The most important part of plugging is cleaning off all the tips of the dye bottles.
Because otherwise they can get gummed up really easy, right?
I wish my phone wasn't recording right now because I would take that picture. Very nice. Yeah, that exotic. Banger. Bangers and mash.
Yeah, that looks really good too.
That's really good once the rest of this ball is shiny.
Once that cures down a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah, once
that's probably the easiest of the three, but those. What are you?
Yeah. What are you doing, Bucko? Lollipop, you giant lollipop.
I don't know why that's so funny, but it is.
Big sucker. Yeah, that's
actually working.
yeah.
It almost works.
Sucker, lollipop. Hi, Bucko. What are you doing? Go talk to Mama. I'm not in charge here, sir. I'm not. I'm sorry. Not my jurisdiction. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Yeah.
There's that.
Colin Brunswick.
Final
Yeah.
sleeve going in.
No, he'd be swag.
Who is what?
We heard Gorilla Glue said Colin Brunswick. I'm like, no, we'll call him swag.
Yeah.
Swag.
Brunswick actually makes good equipment.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, B7, the brands are putting out some good stuff. Still, I think they could get rid of a few of those companies. And but, you know, every once in a while, like, Columbia is the one that's just like, what are they even doing?
But
anymore?
yet
Because all the other companies put out, like, some decent stuff here and there, and then Columbia is kind of like, oh, Power Torque, and then...
they have the speeds, the power torques, and the eruptions, and everything else is just kind of there.
Yeah. Track is the one brand that's consistently made, like, banger stuff for 2 decades.
Track's always had some
cares about.
incredible cores,
Yeah.
and nobody knows about them.
If you go back...
Everybody forgets about them.
Yeah. Because if you go back, I mean, the original Track Heat...
Yeah. I shot my first 7... You remember the Hex Revmaster? The blue and orange ball? I shot my first 700 with one of those.
They had...
Pinned down symmetrical with no weight hole.
Oh. They had the Phenom, the Freak, the Freak Out.
I actually did I was like 14 or 15 at the time. And I went up to Richmond, Virginia and did a clinic / lesson / pick a ball day with Del Warren when he was working for Track. And Del laid out a Freak Out for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I threw the crap out of that ball. It was like pinning the ring finger, mass kicked, a little bit of a weight hole, and it just hooked for days. It was so much fun.
And then they went to the numbering system and the 607A.
The number balls were either great or terrible, I feel like.
Yeah. The 607A special edition was ridiculous. It was one of the cheater balls back in the day.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do loud noises for a second.
Yep. Columbia's got the CUDA too. That one's nasty, so yeah, I guess.
Like it's unexpected balls, but they've been putting out some bangers under that label recently. There's that. I am almost done. I just need to buzz and then glue grips, and then I'm pretty much all wrapped up. Voila. Glue. This can go here. I'm actually going to zero out the press before I even take the ball off. And turn your lights off.
Yep.
I'm learning.
And unclamp everything.
I'm learning. I'll forget that
And
part.
reset the ruler.
I know about resetting. Let me do it.
Bucko. Buddy.
Ruler reset. That light is off. That light is off. Everything is zeroed. You are off. Look at that. I did a thing.
All right.
Don't need that anymore. So I'm gonna grab
move, Dingo.
I'm gonna grab the camera real quick, actually. So just to kind of show you guys where I'm at this point. So everything's done. Like I've got all my holes, all the holes are drilled. So I just need to run a bevel sander down the fingers to get rid of the sharp edges. clean up the top of the turbo sleeves, and then glue in grips on all 3 of these, and then I'm done and good to go. So pretty excited to try these out, actually. I'm probably not going to have a chance this afternoon, but might go practice tomorrow. I'm not sure yet.
Nobody cares, Bucko.
Where are you? Storm wants to go outside. Yeah, you're not wrong there, Shannon. Storm stuck his nose between my legs while I was just chilling there talking a second ago. Silly goof. All right, loud noises. Perfect. Almost knocked the camera over because I didn't realize the shop vac hose was wrapping around it. So there's that, and then I need to grab my little drawer of inserts and sleeves, which I need to order more sleeves because I have 1 left. I have 5 more balls I want to drill this summer. Because addict.
Get your bets in quick. Game's about to start. Yeah, yeah, it's perfect timing. So I think it's 1:30 Eastern or whatever. Bucko!
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
You big violent lollipop. Woof. You said a woof.
All right, I'm actually going to do a quick rubbing alcohol hit to get the...
Where you at, Bucko?
Get all the lines off of here. Get everything cleaned up a little more before I glue.
You a woof, Bucko? You talking about Bucko? The people are here to watch bowling. This is not nom. This is bowling. There are rules.
So we're what, almost 2 hours into the stream, and that was the first movie quote. Not bad. It's better than your usual. Sick.
What are you doing, Pickles? I'm sorry. Okay, I suppose that you guys can go out. Let's see. All right, fine. He's a good mistile. I know, you're okay.
There's that. Actually, Luke, can you bring the camera over a little closer so you can actually see? So I run a 1/2 inch reverse, so you can see how much the inserts kind of stick out on their own. So what I'll actually do is I'll glue the front edge to flush, and then as I glue the back edge, I'll kind of push that down a little bit so it doesn't really stick out hardly at all.
Yeah, there's
And then past that, for all the gear that I took to Reno for Nationals, I still took I've got a drywall knife that I keep in my toolbox. This essentially a flexible razor blade. This like 5 inches long. And it makes trimming inserts down really, really easy because you can kind of shape it to the curve of the bowling ball almost and just kind of work it around that way. Or you can just use a razor blade too.
Yeah, old Chad Monte has a pretty good, I think it's New Look Pro Shop, NU. New Look Pro Shop that's got a really good, for, two-handers have this problem a lot too.
Well, because the two-handers tend to run a ton of reverse. I've got a 1/2 inch, and I know Rendusk from the server has like 1 1/4 inch in his ring finger, I think, or something silly like that. Comes off his hand good, so whatever. Where's my slug? Oh, there it is.
We have 3 dogs actually.
So Quick paranoia check. Make sure that I didn't miss anything horribly before I glue.
Yeah.
Yep, that feels perfect. I'm always super paranoid when I get to this phase.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels fantastic. Yep, that's perfect. Yep, nailed it. Nailed all three of them. We like those. Now I just got to glue grips and I'm done. Speaking of nailing it, that exotic though, that's looking better and better.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah.
Which means it's gonna have have the worst like white ring around the edge of the plug in human history.
Terrible when it's done.
100%. I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Yeah.
You're gonna be tilted, and Rick's still gonna think it looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, I did lose one thing in Reno besides my pride when I shot 490.
Yeah.
These little screwdrivers. Mm-hmm. I left mine on the back table during a team event. I was slightly salty.
We had more screwdrivers.
I've got a spare one in my toolbox, anyways. But I was proud of myself for not losing one for a long time, and then of course I lost one, and I was halfway across the country. It happens. So when I glue, because I use vacuum grips, so you kind of want to, the way you glue them, you want to provide space for the kind of the wiggle, the flex that's built into it. So while I kind of make sure this sets, I'll do a bit here and a bit here, kind of just below the surface of the cover. And then once those cure, I'll go, so you can actually kind of see, can they see that seam that's down there about 3/4 of an inch down? So I'll put a drop on the seam right in the dead back of the insert. And that kind of holds the back of it in place, because you can see how much wiggle room I've got on the back side. It can be a little unsecure feeling almost, and so that just kind of helps secure everything down and keep everything in place, but still provide for the flex space on the top, because you can see that's stretching a little bit. So that provides for that flex space right there. So that was about 30 seconds, and that glue is all set. So I'm going to go through and glue the fronts on all 6, and then go back and glue the backs on all 6 for all 6 grips for the 3 balls. Let's put a nice sized dollop there, nice sized dollop there. Screwdriver out. Make sure that you are the correct depth, and voila. So pretty simple process once you kind of get all the little steps down. But like someone was saying earlier in the chat, is there are a bunch of little things that thumb in bowlers have to worry about a lot more than thumb out. Just because, especially for one hand thumb in, I feel like the number one thing is getting your thumb fit correct. Your finger pitch is going to be off a little bit, but if you can't get your thumb out consistently and correctly, then you're screwed. That's why like most of my fit tweaks that I'll make while I'm bowling are thumb related, not finger related. Because you get the fingers close enough and you'll be okay with that. At least that's kind of how I think about it.
JG218. New stuff.
New stuff for me.
OG, yeah, second reality.
OG reality. This is actually, I think this is the fourth reality I've had. This is physics number 4. Because my first physics was pinned down double thumb. And that was the one I shot 856 with. And then I drilled another one with the same layout, sent the thumb hole straight to China because they banned weight holes the following summer. Didn't like that one as much. Then had one that was like 5x4x3, which put the pin like right there and the mass over here with my old pap. And I didn't really like that one at all. And then this one I got from Blackadder in the Discord server.
Yeah.
And so this is 4.5x6x2.5, which puts the pin above my ring finger / bridge. The mass is smack in the middle of my thumb hole. So this is actually a literal copy paste of my top speed layout, just kind of letting this be the pissed off angry ball that it is.
So it used to be a little tricky figuring out which balls that hit the approved list were going to be international and which ones we were going to get.
Yeah.
And not saying anything about anything, but if you happen to see any of the Korean ad sheets, the easy way that you can tell whether we're getting a ball or not is
if it's polished.
Yeah, if it's polished. The international balls will always be 1500 grit polish, and if the ball is coming internationally, it will be Reactive Gloss.
You mean if it's coming stateside?
Yeah, yeah.
You said coming internationally.
Oh, yeah. Globally.
Yeah.
The USN Day. USN Day. So yeah, if it's international, global, whatever else, it'll be 1500 grit polish. But if you ever see a Korean advert for something and it says Reactogloss,
That means it's going to become stateside at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
confirmed stateside. There may or may not be something out there right now.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Nod, nod. That may or may not have one of my favorite cores ever inside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wink, wink. Nudge,
May
nudge.
or may not have anything to do with one of the balls that he just drilled. So.
Yeah. And can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, yeah.
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Uh-huh.
I think that's enough winking and nudging for one
Yeah.
day. This is starting to get weird.
Uh-huh.
So, Luke, what's kind of rewind the clock 12 months? What is one ball that you use a lot right now that 12 months ago you would be like, there's no way I would throw this all the time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it would have been before, so let me see, this puts us back in April, so the Gem was just about to release.
The Infinite was not out yet.
Yeah, the Infinite and the Cosmos were not out yet, because otherwise I'd say Cosmos, because for the first 3 months I had the ball, I'm like, well,
You hated that thing for the first couple months, right?
yeah, I'm like, it sucks, but I could see it. It was round and it was continuous, and I'm like, okay, if we get on any sport pattern, this could maybe be useful.
Yeah.
This could maybe be like a promotion kind of offset.
Yeah.
But there was no way I was going to use it on anything else. So the Helios was out, the UC3 was out, probably the UC3, because I didn't discover the polish trick until June, July.
Okay.
Because, well, actually, I didn't.
No, it was
like
after
September.
August, because
Yeah,
you
'cause-
figured that out at the doubleheader that was at Royal Crest on my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
Because that was when Austin told you. Mm-hmm. Or no,
Yeah.
that was when Casey and Austin told you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with that. Is like, okay, UC3, I could probably
You can see
use for
you
it.
can see the grips sticking out quite a bit right here. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Can they see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just got to work around that a little bit more. Sorry, continue. So Cosmos would be the answer if it was out at that point, essentially?
Yeah, Cosmos would be the answer, but UC3 would be the answer, because it was just kind of the same type of thing. It's like, well, it was, when I did the review for it, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, I can't ever throw it on anything.
You couldn't
because
figure out when to use it.
Yeah, it was in such a dead zone. But I'm like, it was one of those that I couldn't get rid of, because I'm like, well, this thing's pretty good.
The shape was right. You just couldn't figure out the usage window for it. Was kind of where you ended up with that ball, I felt like.
And then as soon as I heard that polish trick, and it was too much at nationals, but too much boom. But
especially with service, I could totally see that.
yeah, I do have more now, and the first one that I have is still in great shape, and so it'll see some time at some point.
Did you take your UC3 to Reno with you?
I did, but I threw it like once or twice in the team practice session, and that was it.
Yeah.
It didn't come out for the doubles and singles pattern, because I knew that was, or in the Bowler's Journal, it didn't come out because I knew better. And then the team, I tried it in team, and it was just way too zippy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Because with it shined up, it's essentially a faster mid-lane Zen U for you, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And the Zen U looks so good.
It's a Nova that actually booms.
Yep.
Which is weird.
Slightly.
The urethane ball is a Nova that actually has back end.
Hashtag fakeathane.
Yep. The Zen U is a freaking goat, though.
Yeah. Mine's shaped really nice. I never got it in the right surface window, I think, is kind of what happened.
And I think that the Zen U, we went out and filmed last night, but I need to get back out and film for Zen U Shiny. I let it lane shine, and it's one of those things where, at the box surface, it wants to dig and shape, and that doesn't work. And so it's one of those that, it's like the UC3, I think it's a bunch better with either shine or lane shine on it.
Yeah.
Because that actually gets it down the lane and makes it do one thing instead of two things at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I got stuck a little bit, because my thought with mine was we knew there were enough guys that had urethane this year in our group that it was kind of like if everybody throws urethane, then the UC3 was going to be my answer to that because I don't have one of the new purple hammers that hooks a little earlier and blends a little more. So it's kind of like, let's just take the Zen U and that'll give me a little more range of use. But aside from the first 6 frames of my first Boulders General Squad, it never really looked that great, to be honest with you. And I was with a few different surfaces on it. Like the shape looked nice, but it was never in the right window to be used, if that makes sense. So I think real quick, my answer to the question of like, what's a ball that you're using a ton now that you wouldn't have thought a year ago? ASIMs in general for me. But if I had to point to one, it's the Reality.
Yeah.
With the fit changes we made last summer, I think we've talked about some on both my channel and yours of adding that little bit of reverse to my thumb and taking away the bevel and all the physical changes. The ball's just coming off my hand so much cleaner and smoother now that I can use these bigger, more rolly cores a lot more and abuse the torque to create blend and control essentially, or abuse the core torque to create blend and control.
Yeah.
And so that's been a huge change. Like I took 6 to Reno with me and 4 of them were ASIMs. And if you had told me that a year ago, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
So I think if I had to point to one, it's going to be the Reality. But just in general, I'm all about the ASIM life now, and I wasn't before. So I say that, and I just drilled a symmetrical.
Yeah. All right, so black tip, 10-4, good buddy. Why does Storm, Grandmaster Yoda, why does Storm have 3 electrified pearls at the same time? I don't know. You should send him an email and ask.
I thought they dropped one of them.
The original electrified pearl is apparently getting discontinued. It's not off the website yet, and I haven't seen any official information.
I was going to say, I remember you mentioning
the original electrified pearl, the birthday cake one, is getting discontinued. So
the best looking one is getting discontinued.
Now we have the Go and then the new one that looks like a Hustle
smells like a Parallax.
Birthday cake. Yeah.
No, birthday cake should never ever be
birthday. I didn't really like the scent on that one.
Yeah. No,
the new one looks
didn't
good
either.
though. It looks like a timeless with yellow in it.
Yeah.
Or like a Hustle Say. If you go back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one actually looked kind of cool. That was the silver, green, yellow one. Yeah.
Definitely not interested in any orange pearl ball because orange pearl balls and me do not. I don't even care.
You don't want another matchup?
I don't want a matchup. I don't want that stupid urethane, that stupid orange or the fever
pitch.
Woof.
Hey, that won me money.
Matchup.
You
terrible.
Go toilet. You be quiet.
You can have it.
I missed
Oh, you will.
Okay, cool.
I missed all.
Sweet. So I am all done.
Oh yeah, Shanna's still in there. And show her the other puppers.
Storm, come here.
Trend 2 re-release chances?
Probably not.
Nah,
Yeah.
Belmo got his
Probably not.
The
It
Fate
was a
scene.
Belmo ball.
Yeah, because Belmo was talking about that on the video he did with Packy. Is like the Fates that the Trend 2 is good but niche, and the Fate is a lot more wide range of use.
Yeah, the Fate's just nasty.
Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of recap here. So this is a Rotogrip show off on the right. Layout is actually here. I'm going to turn these lights off so you can.
I guess the match
not
was
get
kind of
the
good.
glare.
The match pearl.
The matchup black pearl is pretty good.
Black pearl was ridiculous. The original matchup pearl was okay, and that was orange.
Yeah. So this is a Rotogrip show off. Covers basically NRG solid. I've hit it with a 4000 pad. 255045 symmetrical core, so high-ish RG, medium, high differential. Pin is 4.5 inches pin to PAP and a 2.5 inch pin buffer. Nothing crazy here, just kind of looking for a symmetrical ball with some blend for later in blocks that'll kind of be able to project a little bit better and not roll out as much. So that's what that does. This is an OG physics, still at the factory surface, which is 3000 grit. 4.5 inch pin to axis. Mass bias is drilled out in my thumb hole, which puts it at about 6 inches. And the same 2.5 inch pin buffer as on the show off. This is also a copy paste of my top speed layout. Favorite ball of all time for me, so I'm very excited to throw this. And then a new shiny Reality. I have mauled on this with a Warren 4000 Aberlon pad, which is why it looks a lot shinier than these other two. 4.5 inch pin, 4.5 inch mass bias to PAP, and I went slightly shorter on the pin buffer. I went 2 inches instead of 2.5, so you can see the pin's just a touch higher going to make the core a little bit quicker, but it's not as aggressive of a as what I have on my current Shiny Reality. So that should kind of, this will blend and stabilize a little bit sooner, but not be quite as angry in the mid lane. So just kind of refining on the concept I have already. So all done, got the fingers glued in, thumbs are nicely worked out, and yeah, that's pretty much all I had to do. So just a quick little recap there. I'm actually gonna grab your bevel knife and mark up these sleeves. Actually, can you show this real quick, Luke? I just want to show kind of how I do this. So I'll just bevel knife, and I'll just kind of do, so you can see I'm creating just a little bit of kind of a scratch essentially. Yeah, so I'll just do that. Do what? I'm not doing that much to it, it's okay. So just kind of scratching it up a little bit just to kind of give me a little bit of consistency, and that just kind of gives it a little bit of a friction fit. So I'll just do 3 or 4 of those around.
It gives a little bit of friction. It's also a little bit of venting, but it's got a vent hole in the bottom of the slugs. So.
Actually, it does? Sort of, yeah.
No, in the very, very bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's vented.
Fair. Yeah.
But yeah.
It makes it a little more consistent ball to ball as much as anything else. And the nice thing too is the friction fit element from scratching it up like this, as the locking tabs wear out on a slug, it still holds in place really well. And so I haven't lost a slug in 18 months using turbos.
Yeah.
And my last pair of slugs that I drilled in August were still working fine a month ago.
Yeah.
And that's with me bowling a ton and putting switch grips in literally every single ball that I own. So I'm swapping them back and forth quite a bit. So yeah, there's all the markup done. And I'm just gonna do a quick vacuum out of this. And that is it, and I am done.
Yeah, I am also done. So I'm gonna run through our jerseys one more time and then have Angel come down here. Can you come work the camera here for a minute? I want to show everybody the puppers.
Premier camera woman, Angel.
Yep. Shane, I think, wants to see the... Yep. All right, so, yeah. So once again, the new quick ship designs. This is Patriot. This is the brand new one that they just put on a website called Laneside.
That one, I believe, is also a Kratos Troop replica one.
It's a variant.
It's very close.
It's a variant of Troops.
Yeah. It's very.
If you look at one of the
design.
Kratos Troop ones, and next to that, it is so similar.
Yeah, the design and colors are the same basic, but there's some little variation. This is red hexagram. I think this one's my favorite. And red and me normally don't go too well together. But
No, it's green in you that really clash.
yeah, well.
You look like a leprechaun.
Yeah. Stealing my Lucky Charms. And then this is red.
Purple.
Or purple. I was thinking of the word that I'm missing now, because it's hexagram and then there's honeycomb, purple honeycomb. Because the honeycomb and the hexagram are so close, and I just.
Oh wow! Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, because they have honeycomb and they have hexagram. This is hexagram. This is honeycomb, and so I always forget.
Yeah, I want one of the Patriot ones.
So, yeah. Anyhow,
I want the red.
come here, puppy dogs. Aspen.
Doggies?
Come here, Mistle, come here. Come here, puppies.
We has doggies?
Come here, puppies. Come here. Aspen Piggy. Come here, Pickles. Pig. Come here, Pig. You guys are wet. Why are you wet?
Because it started sprinkling, that's why I went and got them.
Hi, Pickles. Move. Everybody's already seen you. Everybody's already seen you. Mistle, come here.
It's all about Storm, though.
Did you guys say hi?
Yep, nobody can see Pig. Come on, you need to move. Bye.
Come here.
Nobody likes you.
Come here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
This is Pig. Her name's Aspen, but we call her Pig because she's stocky.
Or pickled chips.
Mistle.
Did you guys say hi?
This is Mistletoe.
Mistle is my friend.
You're the nice one. I know. Aspen's the chonky. But
And then Storm's the brat.
yep.
Storm's the lollipop.
Yeah. Oh, you're wet, Piggy. Mistle, come here. Come here, Measles.
Pig.
Measles. There you go. You the Measles.
No chips, but scratch.
All right, we are done for today. We'll have the breakdown pair on Monday talking national stuff, and then James and I will sit down and talk Nationals recap for his channel.
Might see if we can record that later this weekend sometime, and then I'll just probably put it up on my channel on Wednesday, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So, nothing crazy there.
You do it, Neastel? You did it? Okay. So, we will say go watch the World Series of Bowling, Team USA versus the World. I think that started just a few minutes ago, so
Yep.
I've got to go pick up sticks in the yard, and then I'm going to eat some crawfish.
Ooh, I need to figure out some food because I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's about that time. So,
Nice.
thanks everybody for watching. We had a successful stream, and thanks for showing up. And we will
Luke, the plug master
have
genius.
more stuff soon. And then my duo review, I'm going to do that live, like I did like I have been doing. So I'm going to show I'm going to be bowling live, but I'm going to be
Interacting.
Live commentary. type thing.
live commentary, live interaction, taking questions, requests, whatever else. And so that'll be a little bit more fun than a typical review, but I will do that on April 28th.
Sick.
It will be on April 28th, and I'm pretty sure I've got a haircut that
2 weeks from
day.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's 2 weeks from yesterday. I've got a haircut, so it'll probably be at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something when I get the duo.
Perfect.
When I turn on for the duo, and we will be comparing that to the Fate, the Revenant,
2 o'clock Central.
Cosmos, 2 o'clock Central, and then Idle Pearl.
Ooh.
But will not be all in the same video. I'll have those separately, so it's not like one just 2-hour run-on review. So,
Nobody wants to watch that.
yeah. Anyhow,
Yeah, no, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Had a good time. So.
Good time. Bucko, where Bucko?
Storm Dog. Hi, Storm.
Say hi. Up.
Hi, Storm.
Up.
Where Bucko?
I have a clean face now. We good.
Yeah.
Bucko, come here. Come here. You say bye to the peoples.
The Lankosaurus.
You say bye to the peoples. I know. You say